now your hosts, Ryan Kane and Zach Daughtry.
Good evening, barbecue family, and welcome to another episode of Midwest Backyard Matters, proudly presented by Man Meat BBQ. Whether you are in the backyard, out on the driveway, or on the KCBS competition trail, always remember that backyard matters. Good to be back here for another week of shows here. We're going to get Ryan on here in just a second talking about this past weekend's American Royal. And then we're going to bring on Nick Davis to talk about his team, Double Barrel Barbecue, as well as the great contest he has coming up this weekend, You for a Cause. Ryan, you with us?
Yep, all good. Sorry, couldn't hear anything at the very beginning, so I just wanted to.
It's all good.
The page.
It's all good. Well, man, you had a pretty eventful weekend. Why don't you talk to everybody about what went down at the Royal?
Yeah, it was. It was a ton of fun. It was 4 days of complete exhaustion. You can probably tell in my voice that I either pick something up or I'm just trying to recover a little bit. But no, we had a good time. I shared a space with, so it was the Damn Fine trailer and then the KC Grilling Company trailer, all sharing kind of one big old party space. And then we so it was me, it was Josh and Jeremy with cooking under KC Grilling. I had Joe Hewer from Happy Grill More cooking with me. Eric Logston from the store was also cooking with us. My wife Kim was there. We also had Todd and Susie Bullock from Hey Grill Hey out to help, kind of hang out, help with the party, help with the ancillaries. So no, it was a really fun weekend. In the end, we managed to walk a couple times. We got a 15th place sausage, which I was super proud of Eric for taking that one on. Just kind of with the flow of the cook on Sunday, I said, hey, I kind of need you to do this. We're a little busy right now. So he stepped up and took care of sausage completely. So I'm super proud of him. That was the first time he'd ever really kind of gotten in there and cooked for a contest, and he managed to get a call at the American Royal. So that was awesome. And then we improved I got to improve my placement from last year's Royal and get a 13th place rib call. So up 12 spots from last year's 25th. So that was pretty cool. And we got to watch our friends walk a few times. So overall, really good weekend.
Yeah. So there's a big announcement that's affecting Kansas City Grill Company and Smokin' Bros. So if you guys don't know, Jeremy and Josh are the pro team for Smokin' Brothers pellet cookers. And there's a big announcement down at the Royal this weekend. Ryan, you want to tell everybody what that big event was?
Yeah, so for those of you, if you're not aware of Smokin' Brothers pellet cookers, they're a company out of Chaffee, Missouri, unbelievable family-owned pellet grill company. They make some really, really great cookers. Well, they actually now are in business with Myron Mixon and Myron Mixon Smokers, to where the Bark line of pellet grills from Myron Mixon are now going to be powered by Smokin' Brothers. So it's using their technology in those really high-capacity pellet cookers that Mixon makes. And it's going to be a great partnership. We had both the Mixons as well as Ryan and the reps from Smokin' Brothers out at the party on Friday night, and it's going to be super cool. If you're somebody that's looking to get into catering and you want to do it kind of on a small footprint, but you still need to put out a decent capacity of food, highly recommend checking out those Barks because those things are awesome.
Yeah, they look like they have a ton of cook space on them.
They do. Not only would you very easily be able to do a contest on even the small one, a 4-meat contest on it, but if you were cooking, you pull a little trailer, you can cook, whatever the rules are where you live. But yeah, that's probably the best bang for your buck as far as small footprint and maximum output.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my best friend that I went to Mizzou with lives in Cape Girardeau, right there where Smokin' Brothers is, and I think I've got him talked into buying one as soon as they come available.
We had two of them at the presentation on Friday. One's already gone, and really? The other one I think has a buyer lined up.
Yeah, no, they look like they're great rigs. Like I said, I don't remember what the price point was on them, but you said quality product. Smokin' Bros put out a great pellet cooker. Really one of the best out on the market. And then the fact that you have the Myron Mixon element into it now, and then you get such a large cook space for, like you said, a small footprint. So no, it's a really, really exciting thing.
Yeah, for sure. I would encourage anybody that's looking at those, check them out at Casey Grill and Company, American Fire, or any other Smoking Brothers dealers out there.
Well, we're going to bring up the results from all of the ancillaries and the meats here, and we're just going to kind of talk through the Royal here. So, kind of walk people through the Royal, Ryan. Like, it's not just a one-day event, right? It's really kind of almost like a festival.
It really kind of is. So the typical Royal opens up on Wednesday for teams to roll in. Thursday tends to be kind of a cook's day, if you will. Everybody catching up with the barbecue family. Friday's your big public party night. Saturday morning is your invitational. So for your qualifying grand champion teams, that's when they kind of go. So it's literally the best of the best going against each other. This year had 250 teams. Saturday afternoon are all the ancillaries. So you've got vegetable, potato, beans, dessert. Sunday is the open. That's the big contest. I think we had 550 teams, something like that.
Yeah, it was insane.
And then you also, on top of that, stack turkey at the beginning of it and sausage at the end. So yesterday was still a 6-meat turn-in.
And they had an SCA, didn't they?
Yeah, and then Friday night there was an SCA event. I almost forgot about that.
No. The only reason I know that is because our friend Ashton from OG Bandits competed in the steak SCA cook-off.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a good-looking steak. I saw the photos from that. It looked really good. So we are definitely proud of her for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about SCA is that the presentation isn't the most weighted score, but it feels like it is in a weird way because that's the first that there's if you know anything about SCA, the steaks have a very distinct look. Okay, it's not something like you're going to go down to the Majestic and order, right? It's going to come out when you turn in an SCA steak, it looks like a hockey puck, for lack of a better term, with these perfect the grill marks on them. And she had never done an SCA, or maybe she hadn't. It had been a long time, but she actually scored a perfect score on her appearance of her steak, that's huge. That's really, really difficult to do.
Yeah, no, that's super awesome. And it was a gorgeous looking steak. It's SCA, like KCBS and anything on it. It's a very specific, there's a very specific criteria that the judges kind of are looking for. And I know it's just as hard to figure that out. Sorry, my wife is moving everything in from, well, it's all good. It's all good, Kim. That's Kim, everybody. You may remember her from a few episodes ago. We pulled in last night, and I literally didn't. I pulled the trailer in and didn't even unhook it. Just literally went inside. She had ordered a pizza. We ate some pizza, and I fell asleep. So we're just kind of digging into.
No, like I said, most barbecue contests, you show up on Friday night, you cook Saturday, and you go home, right? The Royal is really people start loading in Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you're there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And awards were over at 4:30 on Sunday, maybe a little bit later on Sunday. I was listening to him last night when I was trimming my ribs for this weekend. And yeah, no, it's an exhausting thing, I'm sure. And then, like I said, all the partying that goes on. You guys, Casey Grill hosted a party on Friday night.
Yep. Yeah, we had a really good party. I don't know 100% what the turnout was, but I know it was loud. I know it was full, and I know it was rocking. So,
by the way, shout out before I forget, because like I said, we didn't run the ancillary scores, but shout out to my buddy and mentor Brian Miller from Mad Mutts with his perfect dessert. Yeah, perfect. Not only did he get a perfect score, but he got a perfect on it, that's rare in the competition community to get a perfect on anything, and he scored a perfect for his dessert entry. So shout out to my buddy Brian with Mad Mutts on his dessert entry.
Yeah, not only that was out of 21 perfect scores.
That's just insane right there.
Yeah, a perfect score.
No, there were some massive scores that were handed. I noticed. Well, let's talk about QU real quick.
Yeah.
So I forgot where are they from? Do you know where they're from?
Officially, I don't know, but so what I've heard is kind of the Chicagoland area. So our buddy Weeze, he's familiar with him. He texted me after the invitational on Saturday night and kind of gave me a little bit of the rundown with him and said, "Hey, this guy's unbelievably good." And yeah, we found out this weekend. I mean, he's the first person to ever win the invitational and the open in the same year. The mathematical improbability of that happening is unbelievable.
And I think his invite score was like, was it 7-11?
Yeah, it was
a
6 points
score.
over second place.
Yeah, I mean, to score that massive against the best in the world is an accomplishment in of itself. Then to turn around and beat 530 some odd teams or whatever it was, and win the Invitational and win the Open is that's a phenomenal and almost unheard of accomplishment in the barbecue competition community.
I'm pretty sure that is. I mean, somebody smarter than me can verify that, but I think that is the very first time that's happened.
The odds are just so against it.
Yeah.
When you just have that many variables in it. But no, like I said, so yeah, shout out to QU. Grant Basiglieri, I think is his name. I may be screwing up his last name, but I never know his first name is Grant. But no, shout out to him. Really, really awesome to see somebody do that.
I'm sure all the podcasts will have him on in the coming weeks. So I'm guessing we'll get to learn a lot about him.
Tailgate Guys just announced today that he's going to be on the show. So, and I just knew that they were going to jump on the winner of the Invitational and the Open, and look, they got both. Well, Ryan, let's bring on our guests for this evening. So our guest for tonight's episode is Nick Davis out of Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and Double Barrel Barbecue.
Is he there?
I hope so.
Katie kicked him off.
I must have.
So a little background on Nick while we wait for him to get it. Like I said, Double Barrel Barbecue out of Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Runs a super successful contest, a backyard contest in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Last year was the first year. This is the second year. And there's Nick. I'll let him explain it. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I finally figured out my phone, and then I deleted the link. So we had to do all that over. See,
that's all good.
There we go.
Well, introduce yourself, Nick. Tell everybody out there who you are, where you're from, and your team.
My name's Nick Davis. I'm from Moody's, Oklahoma, northeastern part of Oklahoma. My team name's Double Barrel Barbecue.
So how'd you get started in competition? What's kind of give us the rundown on the team history, if you don't mind.
I started my first KCBS contest was in 2019. I'd done a small backyard contest local in 2018. I started cooking for, I'm a fireman here in a rural community where I live, and I actually got asked to cook for a banquet, and I always liked cooking. But when they said they wanted barbecue, I didn't even own a smoker. So I told my wife, I said, well, we got to go to Walmart, buy a smoker, I guess. So went and got one and cooked the banquet, and they didn't hate it. So they asked for me to do it again. And then one thing led to another. And I was always, I grew up an athlete. I was a wrestler and baseball player. So I loved competition. And, as you get older, the ability to compete and stuff really isn't there anymore. But then I found out about competition barbecue. So I decided to give that a shot, and we were absolutely terrible. People say there was a learning curve. It was awful. I don't think I scored over 630 for like 6 contests. To say humble beginnings would be an understatement. It was bad. But I didn't take any classes. I didn't think I needed any help. Our first contest, our turn-ins, we just knew we won, and we got like a 613. So there was some work to be done, but that's kind of how we got started. I mean, I'd done one contest, and then next thing I know, fast forward 3 years later, and we've done 65 of them. So it's pretty cool.
Well, not only that, you've got a cater. You've got your food truck. You're in an actual brick and mortar location. Yeah. I know it's not an established restaurant per se, but that's a hell of a climb.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've been very, very fortunate for being able to advance as quickly as we have. We've had a lot of breaks go our way. We've had a lot of good opportunities be presented to us. So fortunately, we were in a position every time that opportunity became available, we were able to take advantage of it. So it's just one step at a time. I've had people approach me, say, oh, when are you going to get your own building? When are you going to do this? I said, as soon as I figure out what I'm doing here first, it's one step at a time. So, but we've been really, really fortunate and had some things kind of breaks go our way. So it's a lot of work, but I love it. I love what I do. So that makes it worth it.
Absolutely.
So you've been doing Masters, you said, for about 3 years now, Nick?
Yeah, I started in 2019. I think we done 6 or 7 contests the first year, including the Royal. We did it. It was like our 5th contest ever. Then I think 2020 we did 15, and then last year we did almost 30. So we
Did
kind
you
of
do backyard and then go into Masters, or did you just jump right into Masters?
I jumped right into Masters. I actually here I'm telling on myself. I didn't realize back then that there was when I did a couple of backyards, I'd already done like 6 Master Series, but my average score was like 627. So I don't think anybody complained. I had no idea. I just found out about it. It was actually in Cameron, Missouri. I went and done a 2-meat chicken and ribs and got a call. I think maybe 2. I don't know. There wasn't very many teams, but it was cool. I kind of fell in love with the backyard aspect of it. 1, it's a shorter cook, and 2, it just anytime you're doing something like that and you're struggling and you get any sort of positive feedback, regardless of the field size, the purse size, doesn't matter. Just to hear your name and know that it's not just a complete waste of time, I feel like is a step in the right direction. So that's kind of what backyard provided me for, was just probably fuel for the habit, I guess.
Well, you've convinced your father-in-law to get involved too, haven't you?
Oh yeah, he's hooked big time. He came by the shop today and he is stoked for this weekend. I'm telling you. As soon as he found out that I wasn't able to go to the Royal, he and I was going to have to skip the Royal, he come in and he swooped up my meats for the Royal. So he didn't waste no time taking advantage of that. So
yeah, he was in I remember he competed back in Belton, Belton comp. He competed in Belton. He did pretty decent.
Yeah, I think he got 4th overall, 3rd place chicken. His chicken's been which he's running my chicken recipe, so I've got to have him cook it for me because he does much better at chicken than I do. But yeah, he started out really good. He cooked the Backyard Royal down there with you guys, and I think he got 3rd overall down there. Cooked another contest and done really good. Got reserve grand, and then he had shoulder surgery and had been out for the last 4 or 5 months. So. He's just getting right back into it right in the nick of time. So he's pretty excited about it, but he does well. He does really good. He doesn't listen to me, which is a good advantage. I mean, he does good. He knows when to filter things.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I know, so obviously you're a master's cook. Your father-in-law is a backyard cook. What is kind of the backyard meant for you, or, what made you want to kind of get involved with that a little bit more so than just, the 1 or 2 backyard contests that you had cooked?
Right. Well, to be honest, I did an interview with Brad on the Addicted to Q page a while back, and he asked me a similar question. I told him, I said, just because I cook Master Series contest, in my opinion, I'm a backyard guy. I mean, I like the backyard guys. It's generally who I gravitate towards. I've got a lot of great friends that are Masters cooks, and it's not like that. I like the atmosphere of there being not necessarily ego, but less, just everybody seems to be a little bit more open with everybody on the backyard scene. And that makes sense. On Master Series, you've got, 4 meets, they're a little bit more guarded on some things, but the backyard, it's really open and everybody's willing to help everybody else. And I don't know, I'm just more of a backyard guy. I'm kind of a simple guy anyway. So I just happen to be stuck cooking Master Series, but plus I feel like there is, and then you guys are doing a great job trying to break this too, but there is certainly a stigma associated with backyard, and that people think that it equates to not as good food. And then that's absolutely incorrect. There are some beginners, but I guarantee if you ask some of these judges this weekend at the Royal that tried some, there were probably some plates of food that weren't quote unquote backyard that they probably don't want to try again. So, just because it's backyard, that's just like, my contest coming this weekend. We got some of the best coming. And, there's going to be some really, really good food up there. So I think just trying to break that stigma a little bit.
It's basically the Royal Backyard or the World Invitational, pre-cook for teams in the Midwest and the South, man. Like that's how I looked at that contest when I saw the lineup. That's gonna be a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We got really fortunate. I was hoping to get a couple of guys out of Southeast, some of the Alabama, Virginia type guys, but we filled up so quick that I think probably they looked elsewhere. And then when we did have a few openings, they filled almost immediately. So
No,
I'm really happy with the field we got. We got some heavy hitters coming.
Yeah, when you look at the field and you look at the point standings for Team of the Year, almost all the heavy hitting Midwest teams will be there.
Right.
Sands, Furlongs, and Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
But like Hess Hog, Swinalicious, Fluffy Butt, Wheeze. I mean, it's just it goes on and on. Plus some really interesting competitors. Both of the high school teams from Osceola, Muddy River, both of their squads are going to be there.
And they're
Chuck and
good.
Jessica, and they can they can sneak up and whip people's asses. So yeah, you don't sleep on them.
I think Zach might be nervous.
Hey, I'll look forward to competing against anybody. I don't care who you are. But like I said, I'm looking forward to meeting those guys. They were really cool and really they're really neat to talk to when we did the show with them a few weeks ago.
Right.
Like I said, looking forward to meeting them in person and talking shop with Chuck and Jessica a little bit. Like I said, those are great people, and it's just really cool. They're bringing both of their teams down to compete in that one. And then, like I said, Bobby Oliver is going to be there. He's a big time SCA cook, but he's been doing some barbecue this year. Bobby can cook, and Bobby's a really, really good cook, and
he is.
So that'll be cool to meet him
last weekend and kind of talk to him about it. He's looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going. And then we got guys. I mean, I know Travis Farthing. He almost.
Yeah, Travis will be there.
He likes playing with fire. He twice.
He almost Ryan Kane's his way out of backyard twice, but he's going to come. He's just cooking one day, but I mean he's always a threat to win everywhere he goes.
Absolutely.
Sam Dotson, Bull in the Ring. He's come on really strong this year. My buddy Archie Kisner with O-Town Q, he cooked 3 Master Series contests. I think he top 10 all of them. And then my father-in-law. There's you look up and down the list and you're looking for wiggle room, and there's just not very much.
No, I'll be in Edgerton, Kansas this weekend, but I am unbelievably excited to watch awards. And not only that, I'm really excited to see how it changes from day 1 to day 2, because backyard doesn't get a ton of opportunities to cook doubles. And this will be a really great indication of kind of those teams that, do they make little adjustments? Do they just know to run their program again, and a different set of judges may change your results? I'm super excited to see how that all pans out.
And this one has pork.
That's exactly what I was getting to. The wild card is pork, and I think that will benefit some people, like Travis, Archie, that's cooked a couple of Master Series contests, and maybe they've cooked pork. I know I seen Robert Jackson, and he went up to Illinois and cooked the backyard that had pork just so he could get a cook down. That's really smart. I mean, because I really feel like, much like brisket in a Master Series, I think pork's going to win or lose this contest.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, if you're looking for a good example of pork, don't look at the Damn Fine page. Go elsewhere.
You do pretty good at it in Nebraska, don't you?
Yeah, we did just well enough not to kick ourselves out of winning.
Hey, that's how I am with chicken. If I can get it to not kill me, I'm okay with it.
That's all I want. Actually, pork was. I mean, I'll be honest. Happy cooked the pork this weekend, so it was some banging pork. But I think that was our second highest call of the weekend. So awesome. Now I have to cook it this weekend, and it'll probably go back to being fairly mediocre. But it felt good for 1 week.
So Nick, okay, so we've talked about the field, right? We've talked about who's going to be competing this weekend, but talk about the competition itself. Q for a Cause. Who does it benefit? Just tell us about the competition and why it's so special to you.
It benefits Cherokee Country Special Olympics out of Oklahoma, which my father is the area games director for. He is in charge of that 8-county area of Oklahoma for Special Olympics. My sister has been a Special Olympic athlete for 20 years. I was a Special Olympics and am a Special Olympics certified coach. I've coached flag football. I've coached soccer. My sister's competed at the World Games. She's been on ESPN. I mean, so we've been very fortunate and very involved with Special Olympics organization for, almost 20 years. So it's a very near and dear cause to me personally. So to be able to combine barbecue and benefit Special Olympics is really the best of both worlds. And the acceptance for this event has just blown me away. I mean, last year we didn't announce till I think April, and I think Ryan and Travis Farthing were the first two. As soon as I posted it, I don't even think we're on the KCBS website yet. Hey, I want to sign up, and just by saying I want to do a contest for Special Olympics, we had so many people last year, and this year, we dropped a couple of teams, that happens week of and stuff. But I mean, we're in the 40s. That's just astronomical. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And, we've got some really cool things as far as to be able to have the public involved. David Bosca, a good friend of mine, he's coming to do some cooking demos for the public with, and then we'll have People's Choice and some other things and some live music. So, we're really, really hoping for a big event. Ryan talked me into doing a double, and then he managed to skate out of it. So, but I like the aspect of the double. I mean, logistically, it is exactly what it sounds. It's twice as much work, but
and money.
And money. But it's brought in a lot of teams that I don't know that we would have had as much access to. You mentioned Hess Hogs and, coming from St. Louis area. I've got a guy coming from Omaha, Weeze is coming from Chicago area. I've got people coming from South Texas. I don't know that they would for a single, maybe, but a double helps open up some of those opportunities. So it's pretty cool. Really excited.
So what do you think the reason is that, I mean, I know you kind of talked about when you hosted that contest, like I know the Special Olympics, that's amazing. I think that's awesome that all of that goes towards it. But what do you think the reason is that people did gravitate towards Q for the Cause so quickly? Because it's so hard for a lot of contests to pull in teams, even if you have, even if it's only an hour drive or 2 hours drive, they struggle to get 10 or 12. And yet we all said, oh, we got to go to this one. Like,
right.
Even as one that competed in it, I don't understand.
and I'm right there with you. I mean, the only thing I could say, and I don't mean this to sound arrogant at all, because I'm not that way. Anybody knows me knows I'm not. But the only thing I can think is that maybe because I'm a cook, they think that it's a cook's contest, and I do try and run it as such. That's the only, because Ryan, I've tried to figure that out myself. I've told my wife, people don't like me that much. What is going on? I mean, so, but maybe the great cause. We had a pretty healthy payout last year. It's not, I mean, there have been, Belton was a phenomenal payout. I mean, that one in Iowa was just insane. So there are bigger purses out there. There are things that we try and do. We do pay 10 deep. Everybody that walks gets an award. We try and do some things. I'm doing a 2-day overall purse too. We're giving away a brand new Hunsaker custom drum to the 2-day overall grand champion. So we try and go above and beyond and really put the backyard guys on a pedestal. The fact that it's a standalone event helps even more. But I mean, I really want to try and kind of showcase some of these guys that may not get the credit that they deserve, really.
Yeah. I think that's all unbelievable. Yeah. And like I said, the purse is always great, but if you're just a team that's chasing a purse, you can always try to find the biggest purses you can. Yeah. But there's something about that being a cook's contest and the word of mouth from the people who cooked it last year and had such a great time. I mean, I told anybody that would listen, honestly, Q for the Cause, BBQ, Bringing Home the Bacon. Those were my top 3 for the entire year, right? Like they were cooks contests. Right. They were run by cooks, or they were, the backyard was on a secondary. It was the focus. Everybody was meant to feel like, hey, we appreciate you coming to this. I think just, you rolled out the welcome mat for us last year. And I think that's paying dividends this year by not only being able to fill one day, but 2.
Right. Well, thank you. One thing I wanted to touch on real quick is, you mentioned it being a cook's contest, and I don't want to say that contests that aren't ran by cooks aren't great contests. And I know that's not what you're saying either, but to case in point, we have a guy, all we're trying to do is showcase or show kind of what we like and don't like and try and kind of hone in on those things, right? Well, the Sulphur, Oklahoma does a contest in April, May. A guy named Garrett Leverage runs that contest. It's a fantastic, great contest. It's down in central Oklahoma. Always a great purse. He's the organizer of that contest. He's actually coming to cook both days of this contest to kind of get a better perspective of how a contest runs as a cook. And I think that's awesome. Yeah. I think that's so cool to see, everybody kind of, I know since I've organized a contest, being kind of cross-trained, I mean, when you became a CBJ, it probably opened your eyes to a lot of things. I don't know who put that. They obviously, that they need to be removed. But, I mean, just being able to see things from different aspects is, I think, the key to growing barbecue as a sport. I mean, to continue to have successful events is if you know all aspects of it, or at least familiar with it. So him coming to cook that contest, I think, is just big league. I think that's really cool.
It's awesome.
No, it's, for us, it's getting to compete against the best in backyard. We love the challenge of that. To cook a double, we're not chasing points, but we want to really try to see where we're at, especially going into next year. And also, for people who don't know, I guess I lived in Oklahoma for 5 years. I lived in Stillwater, and to get to come down, I haven't been back. Go Pokes! I haven't been back to Oklahoma since I graduated from Okie State. And so, no, Oklahoma is always going to have a big part of my heart. And to come back to Oklahoma, a state that I love, and compete and can contribute to a Special Olympics is a really special thing for me personally. And I know that's part of why we're coming down to cook it. Like I said, to compete in Oklahoma, like I said, which is always going to be a big part of my life. So, no, like I said, thank you so much for all you have done for this contest. Like I said, you've been from a competitor standpoint, you have been great in helping us to get ready to come down there, and especially with our camper situation and all that kind of different stuff. So, yeah, no, like I said, you did an awesome job, Nick.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm glad you brought up the camper situation. I think that's an interesting dynamic because you talk about, the backyard guys being a double. Ryan, I know you did a lot of contests last year. How many backyard contests were doubles that you did last year? Did you do any?
We did one. We didn't bring it home to bacon in Wisconsin.
So a lot of these guys probably aren't used to doing doubles or have the facilities to do doubles. So if you're a canopy guy and you bring your wife or your kids or your family, that creates, a bit of a logistical issue. So, I appreciate you guys being willing to, go out and spend the extra day, because I know that's not cheap to be able to get a camper and come and do that. So, I mean, I want to say thank you to you guys, because we had several that are renting motorhomes to be able to do that. So that's really cool. I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, it's that Oklahoma wind. I'll never forget the Oklahoma wind. Stillwater's like, man,
no, that cost me about as much as I should have just bought I just rented an RV. Probably would have saved me money.
There's no rain scheduled this weekend, right? No rain.
Yeah, I don't know. Oklahoma in October still scares me. I hear there's one good month a year. I just haven't seen it yet, so we'll see.
Oh man, that red dirt will be flying.
It's everywhere.
It is.
There's one thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yes, sir.
So one of the other aspects of your contest is the People's Choice.
Yes.
And I know your People's Choice is set up in a way that is, like I said, you're a cook, so you kind of understand where cooks are coming from when they choose whether to do or not to do People's Choice. Do you want to talk about the format of your People's Choice a little bit?
I'd love to. Well, like you said, I've done People's Choice at events because I understand, and I've chose not to before too. So when going into how I structured mine, I wanted to take all those things into consideration. And the main issue for me with doing People's Choice and choosing not to was because of the logistics of it all, the timing. There's a couple of contests. I won't mention them by name, but that they wanted to do the People's Choice during actual KCBS turn-ins, and you can't do that. There's another contest that does it after, so all the turn-ins are moved up an hour, which that's probably maybe a little bit better. But also having to serve, there's another contest that makes you serve. These are all understandable because People's Choice is a lot of the main fundraiser for these events. I get that. The thing that I wanted to try, got to be Travis.
That's gotta be Travis.
The thing that I wanted to try and eliminate was both of those if I could. So it took me a little bit of head scratching and thinking, but what I do is, one, I make it free entry. And I make it a pretty good purse. It's $1,000 purse. We pay top five, $500 to win. Free entry, I provide the meat. So therefore, the financial reason is no longer available, because I've been to some where, hey, it's served whatever you want. Well, okay, if this guy over here is sponsored by, the hardware store and he's got 18 briskets, he's probably going to win. So that eliminates that. Everybody gets the same meat. They get all that. And then what we do is I come and collect it from you at a designated time, 30 minutes before turn-ins. However you give it to me is how it's going to be served to the public. Chop, slice, dice, don't care. However you give it to me, then I go and double blind the boxes. So we renumber the boxes. Then at a separate site away from the cook sites, we have third-party volunteers that will serve the food. So it is completely blind. You don't have to serve it. It is not during your turn-ins. You can cook it overnight, put it in the hot box, shred it the next morning. I know there's teams doing that. So I wanted to be non-intrusive to their turn-ins, but I also wanted to keep it fair and still be able to raise money. And last year it was successful, and it's looking like this year. I mean, we had 2 teams drop out, and that were People's Choice teams, and I sent out an email yesterday asking for people to help. I had 10 teams reach out to me. Luckily, we got the 2 covered, but I had 10 teams reach out and offer to help, and that is awesome, because I know what a hindrance People's Choice, kind of, we talked about, or stigma of things, right? People's Choice, generally they hear it and they so we're trying to kind of change that a little bit with this format. So hopefully it works. So far it has. Fingers crossed.
So Nick, what's next for Double Barrel Barbecue as a team? You got anything coming up contest wise you want to share with everybody?
Well, yeah, like I said, I wasn't able to do the Royal. We were excited to cook both days, and I ended up getting sick, so we had to skip that. I had several people reach out to me and check on me, so I appreciate. Thank you guys, all of you, for doing that. I am better now. I'm good. Just getting old takes a little bit more time to recover. Contest wise, that changed up things a little bit. So I'm going to do Oklahoma City Barbecue Fest. My good friend Rick Wagner, he's been a big part of helping me with my contest. He's putting on this contest in Oklahoma City. It's a $30,000 purse. He's needing some teams. So I mean, if you're looking for a big purse, I mean, it's I think 10th place call pays $200. So I mean, it's a good contest. So and he does things the right way. He's a cook too. So I mean, he'll make sure that everything is where it needs to be. So then after that, I've got the KCBS Invitational in Alabama. We're actually going to go do that. We were kind of on the fence, but since we got to miss the Royal, we're going to make sure that happens. So that's kind of a logistical issue too, but I've got some people that's going to haul my trailer down, and then I'm actually going to catch a flight Friday morning down to Birmingham and go and do both days of that one. So, but that's it. That's all I got left.
Pay for that.
What's that?
I said, speaking of that, I think I still need to pay that.
Oh, I do too. I think I got an email yesterday.
Yeah.
So I got. They'll still want their money next week. It's okay.
Yeah. Never gonna. This is not a money-making venture by any means.
No. If you're in it to make money, then you're fooling yourself. But that's okay.
Well, Nick, before we let you run here, do you got anything you want to leave the audience with before this weekend's Q for a Cause?
I would like to say one thing about the Q for a Cause. We are actually raffling off a Hunsaker drum, and you do not need to be present to win. if you go to our Q for a Cause page, we have a link for the PayPal account where you go and buy tickets. It's $10 a draw. Actually, the guy that won it last year was Mr. Ryan Ashcroft. He was cooking at our contest, and now he's coming back. I mean, he's got 3 drums. So I mean, it's Mark was very kind enough to give us a couple of drums to be able to raise some money. So we really appreciate that. But yeah, you don't have to be present to win. I think Kevin Hesse's offered to anybody in Kansas City area that wins. Yeah, there he goes. And then Robert Jackson has said, he will deliver it back his direction. So, I mean, I'll deliver it anywhere, within, I don't know. We got to see where gas prices are. But no, I mean, so we would really love to have anybody buy some tickets for that. That's a big fundraiser for us, too. But other than that, no, I mean, just appreciate you letting me be on and talk about it a little bit. And thank you so very much.
No, thank you so much, Nick. And I'll see you on Thursday. Me and Josh Hess are rooming together for the contest. So me and him will be coming in Thursday.
I'll have you spot cleared out. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it, bud. I'll see you on
I'll
Thursday.
crack a evening for you at 9:22, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night, Nick.
See you.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, that contest, honestly, that was one of my favorites last year. I think you're going to have a great time going down there and doing that. I know anybody else that's going to go cook it is going to have fun.
No,
even Oklahoma weather can't stop that one from being good.
No, I've heard nothing but good things about this one. I mean, truly, I'm not just saying that because he was just on the show. I mean, truly, I've never heard one bad thing about this competition. He does a great job. I heard that they give out a real high number of comment cards, which for cooks is always a big thing. To get that, feedback on. Really, like I said, like you said, really well-run contest for a great cause. They do everything they can for the competitors because they cook themselves. And so, no, we've been really looking forward to this one for a long time.
Absolutely, man. Well, best of luck this weekend. I hope you guys hear your name a few times.
Yeah, that's the hope. We've been practicing our butt off. We feel we are mentally prepared.
You got your game plan set. Everybody knows their role, ready to go.
Man, we've been practicing. We've practiced so much for this one. It's not even funny. All 3 meets. I mean, I've lost count at this point. We've practiced so much that I'm sick of barbecue. And that's how you've practiced enough and you're ready when you don't even want to eat it.
For sure.
So yeah, no, it'll be good. But anyways, man, like I said, congrats again on your calls at the Royal. And like I said, don't have a guest lined up yet for next weekend, but we'll announce that here soon. But anyways, Ryan, you want to leave anything for the audience before we run tonight?
Nope, just kind of like Zach said, if you're getting ready for a contest, practice till you hate barbecue. I think it's the best thing you can possibly do.
Absolutely. Well, this has been another episode of Midwest Backyard Matters, proudly presented by Man Meat BBQ. Whether you are in the backyard, out on your driveway, or out on the KCBS competition trail, always remember that backyard matters. Have a good night, everybody.
Midwest Backyard Matters, brought to you by Man Meat BBQ. Additional sponsors: American Fire Barbecue and Grilling Supply, Sofa King Awesome Barbecue, Trauma Hogs Barbecue, and Hunsaker Smokers.